Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Lady Do Build. It's been an adventure around here the last couple of weeks, about a month. Ran into a little bit of a problem in that I dropped my old camera again. I go through more cameras than I go through grinding wheels sometimes. So this time I decided I'd get something beefy instead of just a regular old camera. I'd try to get something that was meant to be abused a bit. And I asked around and people said the GoPro. So I ended up ordering a GoPro 9 Hero, or Hero 9 or whatever. Anyways, it actually does fantastic video and really high resolution. So I started filming with that, and the nice people over at SV Dauntless had told me that they have a tendency to overheat. Well, guess what? Yeah, on this steel boat, with the heat beating down on this dark steel, I was overheating. So I couldn't seem to get a video filmed before it overheat, and it doesn't even warn you that what's happening. It just overheats, shuts it down. So I struggled through that and finally figured out a way to get around that. Basically, it came down to an aluminum outer case to act as a heat sink. Removed the battery so air can circulate inside of it, and now I don't seem to be having those problems. Then for other reasons, I had to rebuild the computer that I use to render videos. I've got an i7 12-core processor, 32 gig of RAM. Drives in it is one M2 and several SSDs. So it's not a lightweight machine. I think it benchmarks in the top 5% of desktops. Well, when I rebuilt it, I went to install my video editing software, and it said I had installed it too many times and that I had to repurchase it, which really annoyed me. But I repurchased it, got it installed. Unfortunately, I went from like version 16 to version 19. Version 19 sucks. It could not render a video to save its life. It would start rendering and it looked like it finished, but as soon as I'd start playing back the video, it'd get 4 or 5 seconds into it and the video would just lock up. Audio would keep going, but the video would stop completely for the rest. 20-minute video, you get 4 seconds. So going rounds and rounds and rounds with the people that I bought the software from, they're trying to play games and blame it on my computer. I sent them the specs on my computer. They shut up about that. They were basically zero help. So I did find a way of finally getting to render some videos, and they seem to be rendering now. We'll see if I can get them up on YouTube. But that's one of the reasons why there's been such a delay with these last set of videos. I have been drilling, and that's all I've been doing. There's a little over 1,000 holes that has to be drilled for ports and hatches and so on and so forth. I think we're back on track. I think we're operating again, and if you see a video soon, that's why I actually got it fixed.
Now the fuel tank access hatches are mounted on top of the pilot house deck. The pilot house deck is 3/16 inch steel, and the fuel tank access hatches are 3/16. Now at the top of the screen you'll see another plate that isn't going to be drilled, and that is because it's part of the day tank. The day tank has not been sandblasted and painted yet, so I can't weld that plate in. So I'll just drill the holes that I can for right now. Here I'm marking up the outer dimensions of that hatch so that I can get it properly centered over the hole. So this is my first actual hole drilled with this mag drill and 5/16 cobalt drill bit. And honestly, I love the thing. It worked great. Now the first few holes that I drilled, in each area I would put another 5/16 inch drill bit to help keep it aligned and keep them from wandering off. Now I've been putting in these screws so that when I'm done on top, I can go below inside the tank, and I've got some really extra heavy duty nuts that I'm going to put on those. Tighten them down, and then I'll weld those nuts into place. You can see here at the bottom of the screen that there's still some weld that I need to grind off before that would actually do any good to seal. But I also got to weld in that plate for the day tank at the top. So, and I'm bored with grinding right now, so find something else to do. So I ended up fighting all four of the door ads, and as I'm learning the mag drill, I discovered that while the magnet would hold it to the 3/16 inch plate that's on top of the door ad, it wasn't going through to the base of the door ad. So the plate kept glistening and fought me all the way. Now the engine access hatch on top of the pilot house is a hatch that would be removed when and if the engine needs to be removed. There's another hatch in the pilot house floor about the same size. It would get removed, this one would get removed, and then you could bring the engine out through both hatches and set it on dock. And this is opposed to trying to wrestle it through the pilot house and over the side. Since it's a one-off hatch, I could measure out where all the holes will go and just drill them directly instead of having to make a pattern. Across the short dimension, I start with a center line for where the center hole will go. Then all the holes are 1/2 inch off of the edge of the hatch. Same thing on the long dimension. I start with the center hole 1/2 inch off the edge. Since the pilot house roof has a deck handle to it or is curved, my hatch didn't want to stay down. So I broke out my big lifting magnets to hold down the edges while I finished up each side. Then I started marking out the holes on each side of the center hole. On this long side, each hole is spaced 5.5 inches. On the short side, they are spaced 5 inches even. Each pilot house port has 14 holes that have to be drilled, and there's going to be a total of 16. There's 2 more in the pilot house hatches, but I haven't even got the hatches built yet. So it's going to be, 14 times 16 holes in just the pilot house ports. I only did one of the pilot house ports. The rope and chain didn't really work out. I did eventually, before it was all over with, come up with a much better method of safely securing that so it didn't accidentally hit the deck or my foot. But this is what I tried that first porthole, and it was not going to be all that helpful. But this is what I did on the first one. Like I said, this is a new drill to me, so I'm learning.
Okay, so now we're in the forward section. This is station 6, and these 2 6-inch ports look over the bow. So they're only 6-inch. They're really more just to get some more sunlight into the head area. So we'll go ahead and drill these because it's inside in the shade. There's no way I'm getting as many clamps on this. I gotta do something about the background or the backlighting. I can't even see in here. Much better. Razor sharp. Ow. Be right back. So it turns out the only Band-Aids we have around here are granddaughter's pink unicorn Band-Aids. So I went with paper towel and electrical tape. And gloves. Because, you know, Here we go.
Those two are not fun.